We welcome those of you who watched South Carolina take out USC by 40. Number 1 seed winning there. You have a number 1 seed on the floor here in Westwood. UCLA off to a good start, jumping out to a 4-0 lead. Here's Kiki Rice for the Bruins.
Here, both these teams starting off in player to player. And watch how Oklahoma State's trying to guard Betts. Will try to front her and bring the double. That time way too late.
No stopping Lauren Betts so far. She's got 4 of the 6 as Oklahoma State brings it up. Whiting to Acholikot. Throws out. Great block by Ledger Walker. Oklahoma State's got it back. UCLA has the defensive intensity dialed up here right from the opening tip against Oklahoma State as we take a look at the lineups on the floor, brought to you by Capital One with Kiki Rice, 3rd-team All-American, Lauren Betts, 1st-team All-American, Jaquez, Neekins, Ledger Walker, all 5 seniors, 5 of 6 players who are playing their final game here at Pauley Pavilion.
And all 5 players can fill it up. Have had 20-point performances amongst this veteran ball club.
Jaquez to Betts, who draws a crowd. Ledger Walker for 3. UCLA's getting what they want on the offensive end, and Oklahoma State doesn't have any room to move on the defensive end for UCLA. They are dialed up. Whiting finds an opening. Can't connect. Haley Timmer with the offensive rebound. Akot was open underneath. They found her in time for the first 2. Oklahoma State on the floor. This is the same starting 5 that they have had for every game all season long. Whiting at the point. Gray's the leading scorer. Akot went for 28 and 10 Saturday. Timmer playing in her 6th NCAA tournament game was at South Dakota State before joining the Cowgirls.
And something we've been seeing more and more from UCLA, the perimeter players spotting up.
Betts tries it from outside, Christie. The follow by Jaquez on the glass.
And Eric, excuse me, I should have said posting up.
Timeout called by J.C. Hoyts. A great start for UCLA on top 11-2. If you're watching on ESPN, we'll see over on ESPN after this timeout. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? The second round is presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. This is a great start for UCLA. 11-2, the Bruins on top. Playing without one member of their team, number 43, Megan Grant, who's been busy with her other team.
Congrats, women's basketball, on your win yesterday. We were watching on and cheering you guys from Rutgers. Go! And last thing, remember to have joy and keep on dancing, baby!
Jordan Woolery and Megan Grant out in Jersey as the UCLA softball team just finished off a sweep today of Rutgers. Megan, of course, was with the team for the first part of the season. Last game was February 4th. Didn't play a lot, but an impactful player and an impactful softball player, by the way. One of the very best, if not the best players in the country right now.
Well, one of the best hitters in the country and probably one of the best screeners in the women's basketball game.
You would not want to run into one of her screens. That was the message they sent out this weekend to the basketball team. Jaden Wooten with a travel. Another turnover here for Oklahoma State. There's Corey Close, head coach for UCLA in her 15th season, the Big Ten Coach of the Year. Went undefeated in the conference at 18-0. First time a Big Ten team had done that in 11 years since Maryland did so.
UCLA has so much length, but what they have done extremely well this year is they all can knock down the 3. That's provided better spacing, and that's why you're seeing Oklahoma State just sprinting around the court, chasing UCLA right now on defense.
Sped up right now.
They're definitely sped up on offense, and that's forced them not to be able to get back and get settled defensively.
Foul is called on Oklahoma State. Jaquez looks inside. Betts draws a crowd. A tie-out possession error will give it to Oklahoma State.
key for Oklahoma State offensively is to create off the bounce. They want to try to get in the paint, force rotations of UCLA, and kick out from three. J.C. Hoyt was honest with her team. She said, let it fly. Well, if you're turning it over, it's really hard to get the shot up on the rim.
Previous Oklahoma State foul on the way was on Akot, who's very important here today at 28 and 10 in the win against Princeton. Undersized 5 player, really with her hands full here today against Lauren Betts, playing from the outside right now.
And you see Betts just protecting paint, staying in there, daring Akot to make it from the outside.
Akot jumps in, gets the tie-up. Possession arrow gives it back to UCLA. Lauren Betts checks out. Her sister Sienna comes into the game. Sienna coming off her first career double-double, 10 points, 12 rebounds against CBU. It was a 10-point game at halftime Saturday, but the Bruins outscored the Lancers 52-9 in the second half. Corey Close said on the halftime talk, I was spirited. We couldn't get the details on how spirited or what was said. Something stayed in the locker room. Picked up by Wooten.
I think, as an example, though, Corey was really complimentary of her players. She said they had already discussed what they needed to do for the most part. I mean, Corey didn't leave anything to chance. She followed up.
Akot is fouled, and she'll head to the free throw line. That'll get us to immediate timeout. 4:56 to go. Opening quarter, UCLA by 9. If you're going to pull off a monumental upset, you need all hands on deck. And for Oklahoma State, that's where the Juice Boys, pictured here, stepped up pregame. Ashwin and Max leading the way. Pistol Pete got a little aggressive with the teddy bear. I don't know what I think about that. When things calm down, here's what J.C. Hoyt told her team.
Show up for yourself. Be the absolute best version of yourself. That's sisterhood. And then when we're collectively all at our best, y'all, I think we can beat anyone in the country, and you need to believe that. Our sisterhood has to be unshakable. It has to be unbreakable. Stick together no matter what happens, okay? Be there to pick each other up. Be there to have each other's backs. Show up individually, and that's the best way you can be a sister for each other, okay?
So JC's all business. The guys with the orange hair, they had to bring the intensity.
Well, there's some business in the top, too.
Well, apparently they got the hair re-dyed today. I certainly hope those two didn't go to Beverly Hills, because if they went there to get their hair done, I mean, that's a semester's worth of tuition. And I hope they kept the receipts for whatever they had done there. Good job, fellas. Two of the team managers closing out their time with Oklahoma State, hoping that it continues north of here in Sacramento. The winner goes on to take on Minnesota at the Golden One Center coming up later this week. Akot at the free throw line, 1 of 2 after the foul on Dugalich.
This allows Oklahoma State to extend to a little bit of full court pressure.
Hot pass on the inside. Tough one for Sienna. Betts the handle and a turnover. Here's Staley Hurd back the other way. Oklahoma State, outstanding shooting team. It's a big part of their offense, and they're going to have to make a bunch of threes here today. Here's Whiting taking it at Betts. Back outside, Micah Gray, their best three-point shooter, knocks it down.
Yes, there was an offensive rebound, but that started with a turnover, which allowed Oklahoma State to push pace, and they just got UCLA in chase mode defensively.
Akot just picked up her second foul. That's a big call here with 4:16 to go in the first quarter. This is an Oklahoma State team that does not go deep into their bench. They'll bring in Praise Egareba, who plays on average 10 minutes a game, but she's going to have to play a lot of minutes here tonight.
Well, and watching both yesterday and today's practice, though, she was doing a good job in terms of being scout specific.
Neepkins hits a three. 5 different scores so far for UCLA. Here's Wooten, such a big spark off the bench for the Cowgirls.
Well, once again, UCLA switching that on-ball screen, so you had Sienna Betts on her. I would have liked to see Wooten try to create.
Wooten Kicks it over to Gray, who just made her 93rd three-pointer of the season. 5 on the shot clock for Wooten. Wooten, that was tipped by Betts. Shot clock at 1. Caught the back of the iron, rebounded by Neepkins. Dugalich thought about it. Ledger Walker.
Mismatch down low. You see Staley here trying to front Sienna Betts, and they can't get the ball into her.
Down goes Betts. I don't think that's where the foul was.
Yeah, they're calling Hurd for
Oh, they're getting it for Hurd. Okay, so Hurd gets called for the foul. That's her first personal. Staley disagrees.
Well, she was working hard. You see her with the front, and you see it hook there, but the officials don't get it initially, and then she continues on. Betts hits the floor, and that led to the whistle.
Staley's argument is that Sienna just fell down, but the officials thought differently. Hurd gets there for the rebound. Blows by Neepkins.
And this is where Hurd's at her best.
Gray transition 3. No. Hurd, look at her fight on the inside for a rebound. Gray. Timmer wide open for the 3. Oklahoma State's got some open looks beyond the arc. So far, able to only hit 1 three-pointer.
Once again, Hawkeyes trying to post up, but the pass is not on the right spot. Leads to another turnover for UCLA.
Corey Close telling Dugalich to shoot it. A couple times Oklahoma State has left her wide open, and Close just said, shoot it. Betts is going to come into the game.
You have so many three-point shooters on this team. Sienna Betts is probably the only one who shouldn't be shooting the 3, and maybe Lauren as well, 0 for 2 on the season. But everyone else can stretch the floor, and that's why Corey Close wants her team to be aggressive and take the open shot.
Lauren in for Sienna. Hurd. 2.5 to go in the first quarter. Wooten. Won't drop. Egaredba kept it alive. Much better from Oklahoma State, keeping things alive on the glass.
And I like when they know they can't get it, they're tipping it out to continue the possession.
Hurd, she'll try a 3. Another one off the mark. 1 for 7 so far for the Cowgirls.
Well, this isn't just because of UCLA's height. This is what Oklahoma State does on this season.
That's in and out. Dugalich, rather, Hawkeyes hustled after it. His last touch by the Cowgirls, UCLA basketball. I know you've touched on a little bit. If Oklahoma State's going to pull the upset, what has to happen? What are the non-negotiables for the Cowgirls here tonight?
They've got to knock down threes, and I'm thinking maybe 12 to 14 threes in this game. They came in today averaging just over 9. The other thing they need to do is create some turnovers.
And they have to hope that UCLA isn't hot from outside. But right now, UCLA is hot from outside. 3 for 4 on threes. After Neepkins hit, now a turnover for Oklahoma State. That's their 5th. Hawkeyes, little hesitation, got some space, got called for the foul. Little push off on Jaden Wooten, so Hawkeyes picks up the personal. First personal on Hawkeyes. Gray checks out for Oklahoma State. Whiting back on. Again, Achola Cott, who had 28 points and 10 rebounds in the win on Saturday, picked up 2 fouls here in the first quarter. Hurd, that's off the mark. Betts hauls it in. Off for Kiki Rice.
UCLA will push pace, but they are very comfortable setting up into the half-court offense and looking to execute.
Dugalich, 12 on the shot clock. Back out for Rice. Rice into traffic, draws the contact, and she'll go to the line.
Gianna Neepkins is on fire, and credit the coaching staff. They were very scout specific on how to attack baseline out of bounds Bruins defense of Oklahoma State. And you're already seeing 2 made threes by Neepkins off of tremendous execution by the Bruins.
Neepkins will check out. 6 points, 2 for 2 from beyond the three-point line. A couple of rebounds for Gianna Neepkins. Honorable mention, Big Ten. Honorable mention All-American as well. Had just 7 points against CBU. Good start here in the first quarter. Foul on Egarevba, her first. And here's Kiki Rice, who was 10 for 10 at the free throw line Saturday against CBU.
Kiki Rice healthy this season, and you're seeing it just with being more efficient, both from the free throw line as well as from the field this season.
Well, it took a while. She had surgery last April, so she was out of action in the summer months. Hurt off the mark, but there's Rice. But Corey Close is talking about how good Kiki Rice feels, how she's been able to be her best. Most outstanding player of the Big Ten tournament.
It's the versatility of UCLA's lineups that impress me. You just sat Neepkins down at 6 foot, a shooter, and you bring in 6'3" freshman Lena Bilic, who can also shoot the three. This team is long, but they're also fundamentally sound.
So this is a long team. UCLA has a ton of size, but Oklahoma's got to go small right now, yes. Christy, because Egarevba just picked up her second personal foul. So their 2 post players are on the bench right now.
And this is something Oklahoma State has done numerous times throughout Big 12 play. The difference is they haven't exactly gone against a team that player for player has the size of UCLA. What I hope Oklahoma State can do is utilize Hurd's scoring ability, space the floor out, and let her try to create.
McCott picked up her second foul with 4:16 to go in this first quarter. Since that moment, UCLA has outscored Oklahoma State 10-0. That's the run right now. Wooten working some clock. About 4 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock. Oklahoma State trying to end this UCLA run to close out the quarter. 5 on the shot clock. Wooten looking for some space. It's going to be a shot clock violation. And time for UCLA. Plenty of time to get off the final shot. 4 to go on the game clock. Little pressure in the backcourt from Whiting. Rice has got it with 2, with 1. The launch at the buzzer. Looking over the official, wondering where the foul call was. Shot hit the iron. Good quarter for UCLA as they try to move on to the
NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. You are watching the second round, presented by Intuit TurboTax.
Welcome back to the 4th meeting all time between UCLA and Oklahoma State. UCLA 2-1 in the series. The last meeting was here in 2018. The UCLA win. They meet in round 2 of the NCAA tournament. And if Oklahoma State is going to win here today, and they're down by 15 after 1, they need to make threes. And that has been a recipe for them all season long, because when they're not making threes, they've struggled.
In their 24 wins on the season, they've averaged just under 11 made threes a game. In their losses, just under 6. It's how reliant they are from 3. The other thing is when they're out-rebounded, they're 2-6 on the season. The positive for them right now is they are even on the glass, just not on the scoreboard.
1 for 10 from beyond the arc in the first quarter for Oklahoma State. Here's Whiting. Kept the handle. Looks for the 2 and works hard for it. Maury Whiting gets her first points. 6 points, 6 turnovers. UCLA, fewest points they allowed in a first quarter in an NCAA tournament game. Lena Bilic drains the 3. No trouble making threes for UCLA. They're 4 for 5 beyond the arc.
Eric, we talked about how Oklahoma State's offensive game plan was to try to create and force rotations and kick. Credit UCLA's defense. They've done a good job of containing the dribble penetration overall in this game.
Whiting blocked by the freshman from Croatia.
Bilic, long 6'3" guard. Gets beat on the first step, but cuts the angle so that Whiting has to stay flat, times it perfectly for the block.
So J.C. Hoyt has made the call. She brings in Achola Cott, and they feed her right away. She makes a difference. Good dish by Wooten, who had 10 assists in the round 1 win. So on the floor with 2. Oklahoma State has to do it, though, Christy.
Absolutely. And if I'm UCLA, I'd get Betts down on the block and let her go to work. Try to get that third foul on the Cott.
Ledger Walker can't get it. Dugalich, just too much size for UCLA.
I mean, Hurd had her boxed out. It didn't matter just because Dugalich has such a height advantage over Hurd.
Timmer kicks it out. Hurd's got an open look for 3. Another one off the mark. 1 for 11 for Oklahoma State. Here's Jaquez.
Great rim run by Dugalich. They just couldn't get it to her.
Betts from the outside. You said, why not post up on the inside? Lauren Betts says, leave me open, I'm going to take it. She makes it. She's got 6.
Well, they're playing off of Betts because they're trying to protect the low post.
Wooten misses. Offensive rebound again for Oklahoma State. That's their 9th so far. Caught against Betts. Whiting in the lane. 7 on the shot clock. Timmer. Bed inside. Cott had the advantage on Ledger Walker. Achola will take that trade, going from Lauren Betts to Ledger Walker. Gets called for the foul.
Where J.C. Hoyt rolls the dice and gets a Cott back in the game, and you see why. Great screen and roll for Oklahoma State. And then off of the miss by Ledger Walker, Dugalich doesn't have position, but she just goes straight up and gets the ball at the high point. Great touch around the rim.
Lena Girardi into the game. Freshman from Purchase, New York. Did not play in the last couple of games. Number 2 on the floor. Good shooter. Turned over by Oklahoma State. Sienna Betts back in the game. Gives it off to Kiki Rice.
That was great defense by Jaquez to blow up that handoff.
Betts again. Cott giving her all sorts of room. Jaquez. Bilic. Now over the top to Lauren Betts. Inside of 7 minutes to go first half. All UCLA at the moment. Again, a deflection and a steal. Turnover Oklahoma State. Rice. Bilic for 3. Timeout, Oklahoma State. It's all Bruins in Westwood.
Run for the Bruins. They're doing it on the inside by establishing Lauren Betts. Help side there way too late. They're also doing it from deep with Bilic knocking down her second 3 of the half.
It's hard for us to see. Was that love for us? That love was for us. I thought they were just sharing the love in the studio with each other. They're spreading it out. Thank you.
I work with you, so I don't see love. So thank you, guys.
Oh, no, that's not fair.
I love my partner.
Out of the Oklahoma State timeout, let's see what they draw up. Now, the 1 seeds have been so impressive. Connecticut, South Carolina today, Texas yesterday, a Cott against the 1 seed UCLA here in Westwood. Gets a much-needed bucket, ends the 9-0 run.
Well, Cott with 7 of Oklahoma State's 12 points, and now you see Oklahoma State going to a 2-3 matchup. I like this call. 1, it helps protect the Cott. 2, it's just a different look because UCLA is in such rhythm right now.
Deepkins tried a deep 3, couldn't hit it. UCLA just their second miss from beyond the arc in 7 attempts. Here Sienna Betts trying to get it to Lauren, but good job by the defense. Akot can really get down the floor. Timmer goes to her right for Girardi for the transition three, but she stepped out of bounds.
Well, Akot used to play the guard position. Because of lack of depth in the post, Oklahoma State moved her more inside, have utilized her skill set. We saw that in full display, bring her out away from the basket, letting her do some screen and roll. I would continue to rim run, though, if I'm Oklahoma State. But that means you need to get some stops.
Oklahoma State has burned 2 timeouts so far in the first half, trying to slow down UCLA. All right, now going to the zone to try to take the Bruins out of rhythm. Betts finds the opening, a little too strong. Got the rebound, found her sister for 2.
6 offensive rebounds already for UCLA, and you must get matched up. And when you're in a matchup zone or regular zone, when the shot goes up, and that time Oklahoma State did not, UCLA made them pay.
Akot trying to go around Lauren Betts, who stood her ground, got the block, last touch by Oklahoma State. Great defense by an elite defender.
4 blocks already in the game, and this time it's Lauren Betts. She's just staying with the ball handler and just goes vertical, and then, gets the assist to help the official as well by making sure he knew it was Bruin ball.
Ledger Walker, Dugalich, that won't drop. There's Jaquez, she's been active. Final game here at Pauley Pavilion for Gabriela Jaquez. A Bruin through and through, of course. Trying to go out on a high note, and so far so good for UCLA. Ledger Walker gets called for the foul. It should be her second, it is.
UCLA will switch a lot of screens. Anyone on the floor can match up with anyone, and that time Ledger Walker on a caught down low got called for the foul. There's the switch.
Cowgirls need to try to get Wooten going, but she's trying to do it against Lauren Betts. The fadeaway gets the roll. First points for Wooten after missing her first 3 field goal attempts.
So for UCLA against this matchup zone, you want to try to get it to the high post, and then when they sink in, you can kick out for the 3 or look to go high-low.
Eakins kicks it to the corner for the 3. Akot's got the rebound. She'll go right to the basket with it. Takes it right at Ledger Walker, playing with the 2 fouls, but Akot's off the mark.
Lauren Betts does such a great job of sealing right at a transition, and her teammates find her.
Ledger Walker gets the assist. Team leader in that category. Ledger Walker, of course, missed last year after suffering a knee injury on this floor playing for Washington State against UCLA in January of 2024. But she's made such a difference. Kiki Rice has been able to play off the ball a little bit. Girardi hits a 3.
Oklahoma State's doing a nice job on the offensive glass. 10 offensive rebounds, and now 10 of their 17 points are coming off of second chance opportunities.
50th made 3 for Lena Girardi on the season. Put up some really big numbers first half of the season, but playing behind some veteran players in Whiting and Timmer. Minutes have gone down in conference play and into the postseason. Betts fights for 2 more. Akot will launch from 3 and hit it. Achol Akot was 0 for 6 beyond the arc this season. No time like the present to hit your first 3 of the year.
She's picking up where she left off in the win over Princeton. She's got the hot hand right now. Oklahoma State needs to continue to find her.
Jaquez answers with a 3. After last season, worked hard on improving her outside shot, and it shows. 40% on the year, 45 made threes. Akot heating up a little bit more. Inside of 2 minutes to play, first half here at Pauley Pavilion. Neepkins open for three. Betts doesn't even have to jump for that rebound and gets the putback.
It's one thing to be in front of an offensive player on the glass. It's another thing to ride them back. When you're undersized, you've got to push back against UCLA.
Good adjustment by the junior from Ottawa. Not playing like someone with 2 fouls. She's playing like her season's on the line. That's the way it has to be right now against the #1 seed UCLA.
Oklahoma State going back to player. You could just tell UCLA was getting in a groove against the zone.
Dugalich couldn't get it. Neepkins couldn't hold on to it. It'll be Oklahoma State basketball in the final minute of the quarter. Staley Hurd coming on. A Cott checks out. Great minutes from Achola Cott to keep Oklahoma State in shouting distance here at Pauley.
I like this substitution. Just keep a Cott, one fresh because she was starting to get winded, so you don't want a silly foul because she's winded, and 2, save her for that second half.
14 points for Cott, 11 this quarter. Wooten had to change the arc of the shot because 6'7" Lauren Betts was there, but Jane Wooten knows how to hit in the mid-range.
It's got 11 seconds difference, shot clock, game clock. So UCLA does have to put this up.
Hand off to Rice, defended by Wooten. Dugalich, Hurd out on her. 7 to shoot. Rice on the crossover. Rice on the drive. Rejected by Agareba. 10 seconds to go in the quarter. Wooten on the push. Down to 4, down to 3. Agareba to the basket, a little bit too strong. The follow-up comes after the horn from Girardi. No basket, and that is the end of the second quarter. Hot start for UCLA. They had the slow start on Saturday. That was not the case today as they jumped out to a 21.
At 0-0 was not released in time. That play is under review.
21-6 lead. You heard the voice of Michael McConnell is going to go to the monitor just to confirm that the shot from Girardi came after the horn as the teams go to the locker room at halftime.
Tremendous start for for UCLA. Much better second half for Oklahoma State. They've got to get the defense and being able to box out from the defense cleared up here at halftime.
You can see they're still at the monitor just confirming, will this be a 20 points deficit at halftime? Here's the call.
The ruling on the floor is confirmed. The ball was still in her hands when the clock reached 0-0.
Which makes the score 46-26 our score at halftime, just to show you what they were looking at. Yeah, well after the horn, and that's it for the first half. UCLA trying to make it onto the Sweet 16 up in Sacramento. A strong first half. Lauren Betts, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists to lead the Bruins. Let's send you to halftime to green the studio. Christine, take it away. Back at Pauley Pavilion, just moments away from the start of the third quarter. UCLA, the Big Ten regular season and tournament champs, in front by 20. Eric and Christy back with you here courtside. What stood out to you the most, Christy, about what UCLA did right from the opening tip in that first half?
Well, they established inside, and once that got going, it established the outside. They're shooting extremely well, both from the 3 and in the paint. And how do they establish the inside? Of course, through Lauren Betts. It didn't matter if it was one-on-one, if Oklahoma State was fronting, if the doubles were coming, or if it was just playing behind. She was dominant in that first half. She did it on the low block area. She did it from 15 feet. She was really patient, and she read what the defense was giving her. And then on defense, she read what the offense was giving her with so much rim protection. She used her length to be advantageous in offense, on defense, with the offensive rebounds. And, of course, she had to feed her sister a little bit as well.
14 points for Lauren Betts, 4 rebounds, 3 on the O boards. Steal and 3 assists to go along with the block shot. And you see, second half against California Baptist here in round 1, 52-9 was the edge. kept it going here in the first half against Oklahoma State. First possession, third quarter belongs to the Bruins. The winner on to Sacramento to take on Minnesota. Kiki Rice is denied, and Achola Cott picks it up. Off to Amari Whiting.
You saw the latter part of the second quarter, Oklahoma State bringing Betts out and then either looking for back doors or looking to stop short with some jumpers.
Cott had the switch on the inside. She had 11 points in the second quarter. She now has 16 for the game. Went for a career high 28 on 12 of 15 shooting in the win against Princeton on Saturday. Neatkins can't hit the three. Betts tried to take it away and touched it last. Achola Cott continues to work hard. Picked up those 2 early fouls in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter. Corey Close going to the bench quickly here. Going to bring in Angela Dugalich, the Big Ten 6th player of the year for Ledger Walker.
I think some of this is because of how UCLA is switching, knowing how Oklahoma State was looking to post up a Cott after the switch. So she goes with Dugalich, who can defend positions 1 through 5 on the court.
Cott. Back out to Whiting. In the second quarter, Oklahoma State shot 56% from the field after shooting 12% from the floor in the first quarter. Micah Gray comes up short. She's 1 for 5 from beyond the arc. As a team, OSU is 3 for 14 on threes.
They're going to keep putting them up. They average 26 three-point attempts a game. And the only way to make one is to keep putting them up.
Kiki Rice finds Betts. And Cott's going to pick up her 3rd foul. Mitchell wasn't trying to hide it at all. She tried to get her money's worth, so that's number 3. The top player right now for Oklahoma State.
Well, that's where Cott's just got to concede the 2 points. It starts with a screen and roll, and great job by Kiki Rice. She recognizes that Cott steps towards her, knows that Betts will be open on the roll, and feeds her.
So Cott goes to the bench with her 3 personal fouls, and Lauren Betts goes to the free throw line for UCLA. Second one to come. Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. For tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com. Dugalich kept it alive. The great pass from Betts. The assist to Jaquez.
What I love about UCLA is they're not playing the scoreboard. They're playing to their standards. They're continuing to be fundamentally sound.
Whiting, good take for 2 to answer for Oklahoma State. Ledger Walker back on the floor. Timmer fell down. Neatkins took advantage. That's her 3rd made 3. 7 for 12 for UCLA beyond the arc.
Oklahoma State's having success once they get a screen set and they look to attack off a switch, not just starting one-on-one.
Dugalich gets called for the foul.
Gianna Neatkins now 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Keeps that pivot foot down and then recognizes her defender goes down, squares up, and knocks it down.
Negarebba had come on for Cott, knocked out of bounds by Neatkins. 26 consecutive wins for UCLA since their only loss of the season. That was to Texas in Las Vegas on November 26th. The winner of the Sacramento 2 region plays the Fort Worth 3 regional winner. Texas happens to be the number 1 seed in that region. Trying to sort things out on the sideline. I think the shot clock may be getting an adjustment here. Mike McConnell waiting.
And meanwhile, Oklahoma State changed their initial sideline out of bounds play.
Jade Wooten for Hurd. Trying to get Micah Gray an open look for 3, but Neatkins had it read well. Neatkins gets the deflection. Another block for UCLA. That's their 5th as a team. Fed inside. Dugalich, good catch. Couldn't finish. Wooten to Hurd. Staley Hurd's been held in check so far. She has not scored.
Great, and that's what Wooten needs to do. Look for that 15, 16-foot pull-up jumper off of the screens.
Whiting, excellent defender, trying to make it tough on Ledger Walker.
Egarefa is working so hard to defend Betts.
Neatkins on the handoff. Betts rolls to the basket. Taken away. Whiting there on the defensive end. Whiting. Lauren Betts is there waiting. Back to Gray.
And again, UCLA just switching those on-ball screens around the perimeter. Versatility on defense makes it so tough to get a step on them.
Dugalich switches off to Wooten. Wooten hangs in the air and gets the roll again.
That was great defense by UCLA, just better offense by Jaden Wooten.
Wooten knows how to get it done. Honorable mention, all Big 12, averaging 12.5 points a game. Every game off the bench for Oklahoma State this season.
Talk about a spark plug for Oklahoma State.
Ledger Walker missed, but a foul is going to be called on Egarefa, I think, who is battling with Betts. Could be Hurd. It's actually Hurd who picks it up. So Hurd's got her second personal foul. Micah Gray will check out.
I think JC White's like, how are we supposed to box them out? Because Egarefa was just trying to push her player back. I'm sorry, Hurd was just trying to push her player back.
Lita Girardi back into the game for Oklahoma State. She made a three in the first half. Sienna Betts on the floor for the Bruins. Spins it up, won't drop, and Hurd's got the rebound. The door is ajar here for Oklahoma State. Can they open it up a little bit more? No, as Wooten missed a wide open look, and here's Rice. Dugalich passed on that three-point attempt earlier, not this time. Off the mark, Wooten in transition against Ledger Walker. Hangs for two. Timeouts called by UCLA. Oklahoma State has outscored the Bruins 10-6 here in the third.
When Jaden Wooten's getting going in the mid-range game, gives up the size, but creates the space with the fadeaway to cut into this lead.
For the sixth straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to ncaa.com. This is the final game of round two, Sweet 16. Coming up next, Friday through Monday. I think we're going to get tip times before we're done here tonight, so we'll have an idea who's playing when. Coming up starting on Friday. Some tight ones today. Louisville advancing on to the Sweet 16. They beat Alabama by one. Double OT win for Virginia at Iowa, 83-75. From first four to Sweet 16 for UVA.
What a job Coach Mock and her staff have done at Virginia. One of the top coaches in the game that I know for a fact does not get enough respect.
Kentucky in Morgantown won by a point. Their first Sweet 16 trip in a decade. Notre Dame with a win at Ohio State. So some impressive road performances earlier today. Can Oklahoma State pull off the most impressive road performance? Down by 25 in the second quarter. They have punched back here against UCLA. And a stoppage here for maybe a punch to the face of Jaden Wooten.
Illegal screen.
But you can see Wooten trying to blink it out. Mike McConnell's at the mic. I'm going to go to the monitor to see if there's a potential upgrade here, I bet.
The ruling on the floor is a personal foul against UCLA number 1. That play is under review for a possible upgrade to a flagrant foul.
Okay, so we will take a commercial break. The teams will huddle up and the officials will go to the monitor. Third quarter here in Westwood. Back here at UCLA, the officials are done looking at the monitor. Here's the announcement.
After review, the foul on UCLA number 1 does not rise to the level of a flagrant foul. It will remain a personal foul. It'll be Oklahoma State ball on the end line with 30 seconds on the shot clock.
All right, let's show you what happened as Kiki Rice, number 1, brings this right elbow through. I thought at first glance that had flagrant 1 potential there, Christy Thomascutty, but it is just a personal foul.
Well, Mike McConnell came over and he said, we're not upgrading it. We didn't see anything unnecessary or excessive there.
Whiting takes it underneath, gets Sienna Betts, tries to get away from her. Girardi, how about this? Lena Girardi knocks down her second three-pointer.
And this is what Oklahoma State has wanted to do. Get into the paint off dribble penetration and then kick it out.
Ledger Walker finds an open path to the basket. Oklahoma State struggled in that first quarter. They were ice cold from the field, 2 for 16, but they have battled back since that slow start here. Down by 15. Whiting can't hit, kept it alive. Agareva fighting for it, and a foul's going to be called on UCLA. So Christie, it was 2 for 16. It was all UCLA in the first quarter. Slow start for Oklahoma State, but since then, Oklahoma State 15 of 26 from the field.
They've settled down. I thought they were playing way too fast when we started this game. They're now more under control. They're also understanding the defense of UCLA. They've been able to get a step off of some screens to try to create momentum and then kick out the shots.
Foul on Sienna Betts, her first. Last touch by Kiki Rice. It was a 25-point lead for UCLA with 3:42 to go in the second quarter. Wooten. That's going to be short. Hurd on the offensive boards. Wooten. Whiting open 3. Dugalich with the rebound. Here's Ledger Walker. Neepkins. Can't get it. Lauren Betts has it. And 1.
Well, UCLA pushing pace, and Neepkins can't get it to go. You see Betts immediately sidestep the defender inside of her to present herself to get the offensive rebound put back, and now the opportunity for the old-fashioned three-point play.
She converts. 18 points now for Lauren Betts. Go along with 8 rebounds and 4 assists. Another strong tournament game for the All-American.
Of those 8 rebounds, 5 are on the offensive glass. She's just done a great job of tracking this evening.
There's Wooten on the hesitation. Beautiful move and a take to the basket by Jaden Wooten.
Tremendous change of pace by Jaden Wooten.
Sophomore from Overland Park, Kansas. Has 12, 8 this quarter. Betts will head back to the free throw line.
Well, that started with the dribble penetration and then dumped it off to the weak side. And when you talk about dribble penetration, it's got to be Jaden Wooten. Knows that she doesn't have the size advantage against Dugalich. So changes pace, making Dugalich's feet go dead, and then gets by her.
Agareva picks up her 3rd personal foul. Akot has been on the bench with 3. And Betts goes to the line to shoot 2. Big Ten player and defensive player of the year, all-tournament team. She has done it all for this UCLA squad. Picked up her 12th double-double of the season against California Baptist, 22 and 10, added 3 assists. That one rattles in and out. Last touch by hustling Jaquez. It'll be Oklahoma State basketball. Little debate from UCLA. No appeal coming here, though.
And I like the full court pressure. Try to slow Wooten down or make her get rid of it, because she's been the playmaker for Oklahoma State, really starting to create some advantage, whether for herself or her teammates.
Drops it off to Girardi. Girardi back out to Wooten. Entry pass, Egarempa spins inside. Betts from behind got a piece. Jaquez picks it up for the Bruins. Gets it back from Ledger Walker. Ledger Walker, little change of pace. Betts leans in to the basket for 2 more. 21 for Lauren Betts. Whiting. Girardi can't hit this time, and Ledger Walker has the rebound. Kiki Rice will try. In and out. And a foul's going to be called on UCLA. Betts will pick up the personal.
Lauren Betts may got called for that foul, but she's been pretty special here this evening. You can't give her the paint to work with. You've got to have bodies in there. Her footwork is too good. She knows how to field defenders and knows how to use her length to take advantage.
Oklahoma State got it down to 13. It was 52-39. Inside of 2 minutes to go. A cut back in. Whiting tries to drive on Ledger Walker, gets rid of it before Betts comes over for Amari Whiting.
Really good ball movement by Oklahoma State that time, and it allowed them to get downhill and get to the rim and finish by Whiting.
Betts going to work time and again on the inside. The All-American Lauren Betts leading the way for UCLA. She scored their last 8 points. A cut. And Betts gets called for her second.
Getting to the free throw line, but as you can hear, there's a lot of fans who do not agree with that call. Akot just trying to create space. And this was one thing Oklahoma State worked on yesterday, getting underneath the length of UCLA. And sometimes getting a little lucky with the whistle.
Akot off the mark. Had the big second quarter for Oklahoma State with 11 points. She's leading the way with 17. As we approach a minute to go in the third quarter, winner takes on Minnesota in Sacramento. Deakins. Ledger Walker looks down at the line, can't hit the three. Timmer's got the rebound. Rice tries to wrestle away, but she gets called for the foul. Both teams over the limit, so free throws coming for Oklahoma State. Sienna Betts will come back in for UCLA. Billage coming on as well. So a couple of freshmen on the floor for the Bruins with 3 seniors. As Haley Timmer will go to the free throw line. Timmer looking for her first point today. She's the player who was with South Dakota State last year, the team that knocked Oklahoma State out of the NCAA tournament in round 1. Now playing with the Cowgirls.
Eric Wilson, free throws, turnovers, reviews. There's been so many stoppages here in this third quarter. And I think that's hurt UCLA's overall flow offensively. And it's been advantageous for Oklahoma State.
First point for Timmer, went for 10 with 4 rebounds and a couple of assists in a win against Princeton in round 1. Final minute, third quarter. Sienna looks for Lauren. And a foul's going to be called on Micah Gray. This will send UCLA back to the free throw line.
Well, they were trying to sandwich Betts down low, playing off of Sienna Betts, trying to sandwich Lauren Betts in the low post. So you see a lot of bodies around there. Negareva's trying to get around, and here comes Gray over the top. That's what the call was. Just, she carves out so much space, does Lauren Betts.
Oklahoma State can hold for a final shot. 31.6 to go in the quarter. Betts has scored the last 10 points for UCLA. First round 22 and 10, tonight 25 and 8. And she has just been great in the NCAA tournament playing for UCLA. You think back to what she did last year, going for 26 against UConn. Back-to-back 30-point games against Richmond and Ole Miss earlier in the tournament. Was 15 of 16 from the field against Ole Miss last year. She's kept it going this year. Oklahoma State going after it quickly, leaving UCLA. Time for a final shot here, up by 17. 2 seconds, Hurd, great defense on Rice, who will come up short, and that's how the quarter will end. And it feels like there's a little bit of momentum for Oklahoma State. They outscored UCLA 21-18 in the quarter. They were down by 25. They're down by 17. They have a chance, but they're going to have to do it against UCLA, a #1 seed, a team that's won 26 in a row. And Lauren Betts is going off. Fourth quarter coming up. The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallets? Up the road, the Golden One Center, Sacramento, the capital city. That's the host for the regional round, where the winner of this game will take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. How about Minnesota, Christy? What they have done, great fourth quarter performances against Green Bay and Ole Miss to advance on to the Sweet 16 for the first time in 21 years. And then the winner of this game takes on Minnesota, and then the winner of the Duke LSU game and the winner of the Minnesota winner of this game meets in the Elite Eight. I think you understand what I'm saying here. And that gets us to our slam dunk matchups, brought to you by Wendy's. Duke against LSU. Talk about a contrasting couple of teams here.
You've got the offense of LSU against a team that is hot, hot, hot in Duke, and some great defense. Can't wait.
Hurd lost the handle, gets called for the foul from behind on Neepkins. That'll be her third personal foul. LSU went for 100 for a 16th time this season. That's a new Division I record.
Well, Eric, who is the team that stopped their non-conference record of 100-point games?
Duke.
Duke?
It was back in the part of the season when Duke was figuring things out. I'd say Duke has figured things out. 69-46, the final for the Blue Devils in their win over Baylor on Sunday. So those two teams will meet on Friday. Couple of impressive performances by #1 seeds. Texas yesterday against Oregon. Today it was South Carolina and Connecticut with a win over Syracuse. They led 65-12 at halftime, did the Huskies. AZ Flood had a big game, 26 points in the first half. Tied a career high 34 points for the game. Oklahoma State, Hurd finally gets on the board, knocks down to 3. You're going to need a lot of that here down the stretch. Back to a 14-point game now. It was 13 at one point in the third quarter. Betts denied. Stolen by a Cott. You know she wants to push. Good catch by Gray, tiptoeing in the corner. Then knocked out of bounds by Neepkins.
Great job by Lauren Betts to continue in the play, and she just covered Gray up. Really lucky as Oklahoma State to maintain possession. And Eric, The last bucket for Oklahoma State might have been the best ball movement of the game for the Cowgirls. They need more of that. And I'll say it again, Wooten needs to be the trigger.
She's got it now. Defended by Ledger Walker. Trying to weave through traffic. The feet inside. A caught. No. And a foul's going to be called on a caught. That's going to be her fourth. That's a big call right there. Egareva will come back into the game, and Akot will have to sit for a little while.
It's hard. Egareva gives a lot on defense. She's battling from a strength perspective fairly well with Betts, but Akot gives you the offense, whether to start a break or so good on the screen and rolls we've seen both Saturday and here tonight.
Kiki Rice back on the floor for the Bruins. Led 21-6 after one. Oklahoma State's trying to hang around. Betts kept it alive. That's batted away by Oklahoma State.
J.C. Hoyt immediately goes to her bench, asking if she should appeal.
Well, Micah Gray, we have multiple shoe tires on the court right now. This is the universal signal for buying time. Wooten tied a shoe.
And there it goes.
Micah Gray was tying her shoe, and here's the appeal. What Oklahoma State was waiting on was confirmation from someone on the tablet on the bench to say, is it worth challenging? And Corey Close is like, we had two players for Oklahoma State tying shoes right there. That shouldn't happen.
The ruling on the floor is that Oklahoma State caused the ball to be out of bounds. Oklahoma State is appealing that decision. This will take us to the fourth quarter media timeout.
I mean, Mike's doing my work for me right now. Time for media timeout here in the fourth. 14-point game.
Take credit, they battled back and made a game out of this one.
That's right, Scott. Only very important television from you, and it is a game. And let's get the announcement here because we have an Oklahoma State
After
appeal.
review, UCLA #1 was last in contact with the basketball. Oklahoma State's appeal is successful. No timeout will be charged. It'll be Oklahoma State ball in the backcourt on the sideline with 30 seconds on the shot clock.
I love the new rule where coaches can make appeals. I've thoroughly enjoyed the theatrics as coaches go to decide whether or not they should appeal. So you see the play, ball goes off UCLA, and then if you look at J.C. Hoyt, she looks to her bench, then she's pointing to the ground, which is a signal to her players to tie the shoe to stall so that her staff can keep looking at the play to decide whether or not they should appeal.
And just out of frame, Jaden Wooten was tying her shoe as well. So they had two players who understood the assignment. So they get the basketball inside of 8 to go. Here's Wooten on the pull-up. Could have used that one, but it looks like a foul's going to be called on UCLA, so stay on this end of the court. The deficit was 25 for Oklahoma State in the second quarter. They are now down by 14. The closest they've been is 13 since that big deficit. Chance to get it to 11 right now.
And there's the switch.
Here is her trying to get it to 11, just a little too strong. And Dugalich has the rebound. Jaquez, Betts working hard inside, directing traffic now. Rice works with the Betts screen. Neepkins on the run for two. Wooten, as we approach 7 minutes to go in the fourth, a spot in the Sweet 16 on the line. Wooten, great adjustment. Egareva on the glass, no, and Betts has the rebound. That's her 9th to go with 25 points.
I was just about to say, I wonder how long J.C. Hoyt will leave Akot on the bench, but she just signaled she wants her to get back in the game.
Neepkins goes the long way to Jaquez. Neepkins found a little room. That's all she needs. points now for Gianna Neepkins.
And that's an example of how Corey Close is moving Lauren Betts around. Last year would set her up on the block. This year moving her around, and that's allowing the guards space to create.
Gray off the mark. 6 straight misses for Oklahoma State. It's slipping away from the Cowgirls. Jaquez trying to get a little distance. Dugalich batted it out for Gray. Gray. Timmer finds an opening for 2. Timeout called by Oklahoma State with 5:58 to go in the 4th quarter in a 16-point game. As the teams huddle up, let's take a look at tonight's Capital One rewarding performance. We talked about 6 seniors playing their final game here at Pauley Pavilion.
And they've all contributed, as they should. This is a tremendous culture here of the Bruins. Kiki Rice with the score at the bucket. And then you got Jaquez, who's been so active with the assist inside to out to Ledger Walker for the 3. And then Neepkins with the out-of-bounds plays early in that first quarter, got going from deep. And now Jaquez spotting up for 3.
2 more to get to.
We're still going. And now it's Dugalich posting up and doesn't have the position, but stays with the miss to put it in. And then I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, yeah.
Last but not least,
Lauren Betts, the All-American, who's carved out space. Anytime she's gotten near the rim, she's made Oklahoma State pay this evening.
Seniors tonight, 60 of the 68 for the Bruins. As a team, they have 19 total assists, 18 for the senior class. And of course, senior class has a little bit of a different meaning in the portal era. And that's certainly the case here for UCLA. Of course, Lauren Betts started her career at Stanford, but she's made an All-American name for herself at UCLA now in her 3rd season. She scores again. She's got 27. That's a new season high for Betts. A cot, 5.5 to go. Betts with the deflection. A cot picked it up. Dugalich takes it away.
Corey Close signaling to slow it down, calling a set play here.
Neepkins muscles in 2 more. 15 points for Neepkins, 27 for Betts. Hakat with the 4 fouls, trying to find some space and does.
Cholikat has just been spectacular in these last 2 games. And what I love about it, she's undersized, doesn't matter. She's understanding what her advantages are, and she's taking advantage in the biggest way.
Ledger Walker had to change her shot, drew the contact, and will go to the free throw line. Of the 6 seniors, 2 have played their entire careers here in Westwood. 4-year careers wrapping up for Kiki Rice, who's coming back into the game, and Gabriela Jaquez.
Well, you've already talked about Jaquez and just how was born a Bruin, raised a Bruin, and is about to complete her career as a Bruin. And she has just been steadfast in her improvement. Corey Close telling us yesterday that it's always special right before tip when the players come off the court as Jaquez will run over to her. And she says the look of pure pride and glee to get to wear the uniform is always on her face. And Corey got emotional talking about her and what it means for Jaquez to be a Bruin.
Corey said before this regional that Jaquez has blown wind into my sails with her passion. She's brought this warrior mentality, fuels the team. Everyone's had a hand in it here today. Wooten trying to keep Oklahoma State in it. She's got 14. Approaching 4 minutes to go in the 4th. Dugalich, good pass inside. 2 more for Betts. 22 assists now for UCLA. They had 34 in that memorable Big Ten championship game against Iowa. A cot comes up short. Dugalich with the rebound. Rice.
Rice missed. Betts on the roll.
Betts has it now from Neepkins. McCott's got the 4 fouls. Betts knows it and takes advantage. Answer by Wooten.
Even Betts just kind of dropped her hands like, this young lady's tough to guard. Wooten doing a great job of creating space to get her shot off.
Timeout called by Corey Close. 31 points for Lauren Betts. 5th time she's gone for 30 or more in her career. It's a 19-point lead with 3:07 to go in the season finale at Pauley.
Some people will say, well, it's just because she's taller. No, Lauren Betts is working. The screen and roll, and on the roll, she immediately got into a cot to create space. And then, once again, there's shooters all around, so the help comes late, but she senses the help, splits the double team, and extends to get another 2. Her footwork's been on display tonight. Her ability to read single, double, or triple teams at times has been on display, and tremendous touch by the All-American as well.
We talked about in her NCAA tournament career how good she's been. And this was entering tonight, 8 games played, averaging in her UCLA tournament career. 22 points a game, just under 10 rebounds a game. Those numbers are going up right now for what she's done here today. Betts, 31 points. She's 13 of 17 from the field. She has found another level when it comes to the NCAA tournament, playing in this UCLA uniform.
This is what stars should do. They should shine brightest on the biggest stage. And Lauren Betts has continued to elevate her game year in and year out, and so has this Bruin program.
Kiki Rice with the take for 2.
This is the part that's been really special for me to watch in preparation of this weekend, is Lauren Betts switching onto smaller guards and containing them off the bounce.
Good feed by Wooten inside to a cot. She's got 21. 28 against Princeton, 21 tonight against UCLA. Excellent performance here in Westwood. But with 2:20 to go, the deficit is 19 for Oklahoma State. Rice will head to the free throw line, where she's been perfect here this weekend. So here is Kiki Rice, a 4-year starter for UCLA. Four for 4 at the line tonight. 10 for 10 at the line on Saturday. Keeps it going.
The veteran Dugalich, throughout that first free throw, went over to Corey Close and was getting an explanation on just how to play the low post positioning defense. These seniors and graduates are still learning and growing.
All conference, all 4 years. 2 years in the Pac-12, 2 years in the Big Ten, and Kiki Rice heads to the bench. Here's Wooten for Oklahoma State. Wooten inside to a cot again. Those two continue to be connected. Remember, Akot picked up her 4th with 8:32 to go in the 4th. Inside of 2 minutes to go now. Hurd out on Ledger Walker. Rice is going to come back into the game. Dugalich, open 3, no. Rebound comes right to her.
14 offensive rebounds now for UCLA in this game.
Betts turns from outside. 33 matches her career high. Wooten over Betts for 2. She's got 18 for a 2nd consecutive game here at Pauley Pavilion.
Her mid-range game is just nasty. Her ability to elevate at her short frame, it never comes into play because
Betts, 35, a new career high for Lauren Betts. And the crowd will have a chance to send the seniors off in style. Corey Close leaving Jaquez on the floor. That might be by Gabriella's choice. Final minute, Wooten off the mark. Rebound for Amanda Muse. Off to Jaquez. Fed inside. Sienna Betts is fouled by Hurd. They went to the Final Four last year. Rice, Betts, Dugalich, Jaquez were on that run. Add Ledger, Walker, and Neepkins to the mix this year. And this is a team you could see not leaving this time zone, going to Sacramento and then right down to Phoenix and compete in the Final Four again.
I go back to what Corey Close said to her team first thing when they came out for shoot-around today, and that was play with joy and have no regrets. And the smiles on the bench, there's obviously emotions with this being their last game here in Pauley Pavilion. But hats off to this senior class here at UCLA. They have raised the bar for this program.
First ever Final Four in their NCAA tournament history came last year. Beat LSU in the Elite Eight to get there before falling to UConn. The eventual national champions, of course. This will be their 27th consecutive win. And Lauren Betts, her final game at Pauley Pavilion, 35 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 15 of 19 from the field. Timmer will head off for one final time. Just her only season in Stillwater. Fifth-year grad student heads off. She helped them get their first NCAA tournament win in 5 years on Saturday night. Here's Jaquez looking for a final point, and she'll have a chance to get it at the free throw line.
Well, Eric, as much as we talk about UCLA establishing new standards with this senior class, I feel like Oklahoma State's raised the bar on their program to finally get an NCAA win under J.C. Hoyt. A lot of talent returning to Stillwater next year for the Cowgirls.
Ochoa has picked up her 5th personal foul. It starts with her. The junior from Ottawa heads off the court after picking up 23 points tonight. Was 10 of 16 from the field against a team. Now she's going against bigger players a lot, but this is UCLA big here tonight. No one is left here, by the way, so they're going to have a little bit of a party here in Westwood. Jaquez at the free throw line to perhaps close out the scoring tonight for UCLA as Whiting brings it across half court. Egarezba back for Whiting. Whiting, the runner, is good. Jaquez has it. She just needs to bring it across half court. The crowd, everyone on their feet, saluting UCLA for the 4th straight year onto the Sweet 16. Oklahoma State battled back after falling behind by 25. But in the end, UCLA showing again why they are on that short list for national championship contenders.
This is a team, as you said numerous times, made it to the Final Four a year ago. But, Eric, statistically, they are better in every way. They're scoring better, their defense is better, their rebounding's better, and they have better guard play, which allows more space for Lauren Betts down low.
Oh, we're going to get an on-court bracket slap here. Little something for the crowd here in Westwood. Corey Close gets the final word, but Lauren Betts fills out the final team. Moving on to the Sweet 16, it's UCLA. They'll take on Minnesota in Sacramento on Friday. A career-high 35 points for the All-Americans. So now we have times. It's UCLA and Minnesota Friday, 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Duke and LSU Friday, 10 Eastern Time on ESPN. And we have more times and matchups to unveil here. Notre Dame Vandy, Friday afternoon. UConn, North Carolina, Friday evening. Saturday, it's Louisville and Michigan. Texas and Kentucky, Saturday afternoon. We talked about what was happening with UCLA, Minnesota, Duke, and LSU, and Saturday matchups elsewhere. Well, UCLA showing everyone all season long how great they are. 33-1. They've won 27 in a row. The Bet Centers, they're leaving the floor. Champions of the Big Ten, and they win here in Westwood. 87-68 the final. Time for Sports Center.